Don't think healthcare professionals have any business experience? Think again. No topic is off limits as we share tales from our brave hosts who will always tell it like it is. We are #NoFilterHealthcare. Here to guide you through your healthcare journey are your hosts, Taylor Dunn and Tamara Dhanda. We want to thank our sponsor, Uptime Health, the leading healthcare equipment and compliance management software company, for bringing this podcast to fruition. Visit uptimehealth.com to learn more. Let's get started.
Hi there, welcome to #NoFilterHealthcare. I'm your co-host, Taylor Dunn.
And I'm Tamara Dhanda, your other co-host.
And we are excited because today we get two guest speakers, Becky Meek and Michelle Gabrielson. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining our show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Taylor and Tamara. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're excited. So I just want to do a brief introduction. So Becky Meek is the VP of Business Development for itrac. And Michelle Gabrielson, congratulations. I heard you just started recently as the Director of Strategic Partnerships for itrac. So great to have both of you. So I just want to get started for our listeners to be able to understand what your roles are, how you ended up in the dental industry, and then just providing a brief background on what itrac does, and even talk a little bit about the itrac software. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
So Taylor, great questions. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be here with Michelle. She's a great addition to our team at itrac. itrac is a dental specialized company that we have two sides of our company. We have Dental Revolution, which is a full service marketing agency, and then we have itrac software, which is just that, it's software. And what we do is we create and implement in-house membership plans for offices that is white labeled and customized to the practice. As I've been with itrac for 2.5 years now, I have started within partnerships and then evolved into heading up the itrac side of things, and now working on marketing development and business development is really exciting and a really fun place to be. And you asked how did I get here, and it's kind of an interesting story, but I have a long history in medical and pharmacy space work. And as I was working for a specialty pharmacy, a friend of mine called up and said, "Hey, are you busy?" And I said, "Well, I'm not that busy." And he said, "I'm starting a dental company. Can you help me?" And I said, "Well, sure." I don't know anything about dentistry. And he's like, "But you know a lot about business, so let's do this." And so I said that would be great. And so I just started learning dentistry, and really have fallen in love with dentistry and with the space. I find that it's so much fun to advocate for and to be able to provide solutions for dentists, which ultimately I think where they have my heart truly is that they're genuinely entrepreneurs who own their own businesses. For the most part, I mean, there are obviously DSOs and group dental practices, but there's so many independent dental owners and dental practices. And so really helping feed that business side of dentistry really is a passion of mine.
And I find it funny, you both, I think Michelle, you came from pharmacy as well.
I did.
And so did I. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was set on going to pharmacy school, and I loved it. I loved the pharmacology side. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we all kind of get into medicine in very similar ways. So yeah. Speaking of those like pain points, right? We talked about, y'all's experience and kind of, navigating through your dental industry. Is there something right now that you guys are looking forward to as far as like innovation, right? So we know that like come 2022, there's just going to be all sorts of products, right? We could probably see anything happen from here on out. So is there anything this year that you think will completely change the dental industry?
Sorry, I didn't know if Michelle was going to answer that. So I don't know if there's anything that's going to be, completely innovative. I don't think that I have the crystal ball to tell that story. But what I do think that we're going to see continue to change and develop in dentistry is the business side of things. I think that, through the pandemic and surviving through the pandemic, we continue to see dentists that struggle with staffing and with patient cancellations because of COVID. I mean, it's just kind of the elephant in the room right now, I think, in the entire dental space, but also, going beyond that as well. And so I think that as we're looking at, what is going to happen, what's going to innovate, I think if anybody had the magic solution, here's the business idea for any listeners out there, that if you have the magic solution to fix that, then you'll win.
Yeah, please let us know.
Right. But overall, I don't know that there is one innovation that's going to happen, but I do think that what as business owners, what dentists that I know and that I speak to on a regular basis are really focusing on is becoming their best selves within their practice and running their business well. That includes, creating strong streams of cash flow. That includes making sure that your reimbursements are right where they should be. Are you priced where you should be? What's your strategy for that? And so part of that is anticipating PPO, maybe exit strategies, looking at how can I successfully exit a PPO, how can I, it's sort of the golden handcuffs, right? If you think about losing a PPO, the first thing is there's a little fear of how am I going to retain those patients, or how am I going to retain that revenue if I get rid of a PPO? And so really having a good strategy in place for that exit. Michelle, do you have anything that you would add to that?
Oh yeah. So I personally, in terms of innovative ideas or things that are happening, I think the pandemic forced a lot of companies, as well as dental practices, as well as the leaders in our industry, to really take a step back and reevaluate how they're managing things, how they're the things that we are bringing to life in the dental industry. A few years ago, before the pandemic hit, it was all about the lasers, right? Now, there's the ability now with certain dental labs that, they're able to provide all of that in your practice for you or help you with the training. Where a couple years ago, you would purchase a laser, you didn't receive the additional things that you needed. So I think it's really, the entire pandemic really forced everybody to be more forward thinking, to be tighter as a community. I build partnerships. I think the communication that we've knitted, I guess, along the last couple of years, in terms of, you're seeing more KOLs out there actually pushing more than just one brand, actually supporting more than just one company, and their voices are being heard. We just came back from Voices of Dentistry, and a lot of the topics that they had, are really resonating with the dentists. And as Becky said, it's forcing them to reevaluate and become more businesslike, and actually take a better look at their practices because of what happened, with the pandemic. And so I think that in terms of innovative stuff, I think that really we're going to see a lot more people talking about a lot more products. We're going to see a lot of more education, I think, and we're doing it a lot virtually now. And if you couldn't attend a trade show or something like that, now you have alternatives. So I think we didn't have a lot of that, a couple years ago, and we have that now. So I think it's caused us to become closer as an industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Partnerships, I feel like, are just so crucial. And, the whole aspect of communication and, really reaching out within your network and, seeing what's out there, I feel like is just so important, especially like you said. I mean, COVID has really evolved the healthcare industry and how we think and how we react. So I think we're all realizing now that we should just better prepare, right, for things, and just kind of, navigate through that. But super, super awesome answer. So I know you talked about, the digital aspect of conferences, right? Like other avenues. Are you doing anything in person? So between Taylor and I, after all of the COVID and everything that's happened, we're just like, we can't wait to see each other in person. Is there anything going on as far as conferences with you guys you want to mention, or anywhere we can see you in person?
Yeah, absolutely. And to piggyback on what Michelle said, that networking and those relationships are key. And it is so exciting to be in person. Michelle and I actually met at ADOM back in September. And that meeting in particular had so much positive energy. and strength. It was really impactful, I think, to a lot of people. But we will be at Chicago Midwinter. We will be at Hinman. We will also be supporting ADOM again this year. There's quite a few regional conferences in between. There's a great partnership that we have with Patterson Dental, and the St. Louis branch is doing a women in dentistry event that Michelle will be going to. And that's exciting. Patterson is really supporting women in dentistry this year across the country, but that one in particular is coming up in March. So we can definitely guide people to our website at itrac LLC, or as itrac.com, I should say. And they can look at our upcoming meetings that we'll be at.
Yeah, we're excited to see you guys there as well. So just to kind of go back to Michelle and your background with partnerships and just understanding, where did you end up where you are? And I know that you definitely have some people that have influenced you in pushing you towards the path of partnerships and sticking with dental as the industry of choice. So can you just kind of elaborate on what those experiences were for you?
So I've been in dentistry for over 20 years, and I was originally pre-med, pre-dental student, had about 11 years of pharmacology, and I decided I wanted to become a dentist, so I was headed towards dental school. So I became a dental assistant thinking, okay, this will help me get my foot in the door, and quickly realized I couldn't survive off of a dental assistant salary. So I never really officially said I had finished my dental assisting program. So I started my own company, and I temped myself out. I would help dental practices from the top to the back, from the front to the back, and I would go in and set up new dentists. And meanwhile, I was studying for my DAT to go to dental school. And but I had a dental assisting program for young women that didn't know what they were going to do or that had been abused. And I taught 13, and as of today, one became a dentist, two became hygienists, and the rest are still assistants. So it was really fun and rewarding. But what got me into partnerships was probably Dr. Lou Schumann. He had nominated me as top 25 women in dentistry, and he was a big mentor of mine. And I was working for Revenue Well, and he just said, "You're really good with relationships." And I said, "Yeah, I was a flight attendant, and I love people, and it's my passion." So from there, I got into partnerships. I started the partner program with Revenue Well, and I've just loved it. And I have probably over 800 partners out there now. And I'm super excited to be a part of itrac. So.
And so you talk about 800 partnerships. That's pretty impressive. I don't think a lot of people can say that. So, what can you tell our listeners, how do you get into building these partnerships? What are those stepping stones to get in front of the right people and identify companies that are willing to partner up?
So I would tell people communicate. Communication is the lifeline of any relationship. And in terms of getting those partnerships, I love a story, and everybody has a story, and that's where it all starts. And whether you're a company or a KOL or an individual, I love to hear your story. And from there, if I see the alignment and if I can build the strategy around how we can work together, then I invite them to become a partner.
Yeah, and Michelle's actually a mentor for me now as we're building up our partnership program at Uptime Health, and she's been really great for me to understand how to build these partnerships and relationships with people. And I almost feel like it's kind of like problem solving. You're just looking at, how you can put together these companies and provide a solution to all of their clients. And it's pretty unique to see it come together. So we're lucky to be working with both of you, actually. So
I have to say, Becky's a big mentor of mine too.
we're all influencing each other.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know the magic words around it, but building each other up is so important. Thinking about like Uptime Health and all these things. It's about, how can we, even competitors, right? And obviously, we're not a competitor of yours. But even competitors, there's so much business out there in the marketplace. In dentistry, it's the same thing. You can have two dentists on the same block. There's plenty of patients for both dentists to have a successful practice. And so really learning how, as Michelle said, communicate, but really building one another up in a positive space, I think is really a key to success in any vertical of business, because it's when people start kind of cutting down or trying to cut corners that things get lost and integrity gets lost. But building it the right way, like with Michelle, we're so lucky to have her here and have her expertise on our team. I couldn't be happier to look forward in 2022 to what our partnership program will look like in 12 months, having her behind it. So,
And Tamara and I were just talking about this, how partnerships are really for patients alone, to be able to see that there's two companies that are working together to make it a better experience overall. It's great to see. And as a patient, I want to see a dental facility that's innovative and, moving towards the future of different technologies and how they can make my experience more enjoyable. So I feel like that's kind of the way we're heading with a lot of people in this industry. So, but well, it's been great to talk with both of you. We're, love to learn from each of you, and so we're excited to see you at a couple conferences coming up. And then, just as Becky had mentioned, for any of our listeners that want to learn more about itrac and IllumiTrack software, you can visit itrac. That's ITARC. LLC.com, because don't want to put a K in there.
no, it's funny.
But yeah, thank you guys for being on our show. It was wonderful to speak with you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations on launching your podcast. This will be exciting to watch grow as well.
Thank you.